Oh, aroha mai whānau. Bit out of sorts today. No mai hoki mai. Thank you for joining in, and I can see there's people joining online now. So don't forget to chicken in. This is our last chance to get into this month's prize draw for the Matariki hoodie and all the other little goodies. No mai hoki mai. Thank you for supporting us. I've had lots of good feedback about what we're doing, and today is kind of a special session based on some of the problems that some people have been having with Aromatawai and stuff like that. Kia ora, Cutie and Shah. Thanks for chickening in. Now, for those who are brand new to this, ko kain tuku ingoa, ko motupuhu e te maunga, ko waitaki te awa, ko taki te mutu waka, ko tuhuai ki te tangata, ko ngai tahu te iwi. I am a tutu by profession, I guess, and my role in Te Wānanga o Aotearoa is complicated, but it involves helping people get the most out of technology in different spaces. This role in Te Toiatua was my previous role in Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. We've brought it back this year because of requests, and this is totally voluntary. So all the people that have that help out behind the scenes that you never see are all doing it outside their hours, just because we see a need and see somewhere that we can koha to our tauira and to our whānau, and so everyone is welcome to join. Now, we are on Facebook at the moment, and these get recorded, but Facebook are changing their policies, and that after a month, I think recordings are getting deleted. So, hopefully next week we'll be doing some testing, but we will try and be streaming on YouTube as well. So we'll still stream on Facebook. We'll still get all our comments on Facebook, but we're going to try and stream on YouTube as well, and then keep the videos there. And then if you want to rewatch, you can have a look. We'll make those videos public on YouTube, but we'll also embed links into Te Mataka, our tauira portal, so you can access them there as well. So before we get into our kaupapa for today, a couple of little adverts, and hopefully this works. So first one for our graduate community is Kapuia. You can scan the QR code there, but I'm going to put the link into the chat very soon. So that's our graduate community that you can join and go and have a look and see what it's like. If you are a past or even an existing tauira that's already graduated in one of our programs, that's a community for you. Kia ora, Rosie. And the other one is that on Thursday the 12th of June from 6 to 7 is a Te Reo Māori Zoom game night that anyone is able to join. Once again, you can scan the QR code now to look at that, but I will put these two links into the chat right now. Now, if you, those are also available on Zoom screens around Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, so if you miss it or if you want to do it later and you're in a campus, you can find one of the screens that are around and you'll find these links too. That's where I stole them from. And so if I'm not supposed to promote them, too bad. Okay, so our kaupapa for this evening is let's see if this works. Saving your mahi. Okay, now I'll do a little bit of a kōrero first. I think I mentioned last week that one of the reasons why we were doing it this week around saving Aromatawai and keeping your Aromatawai safe is because in my role, I've come across many tauira that have lost Aromatawai just because they're saving them onto devices or not too sure where they're saving them. So there's two main things that people save to if they're not saving to the cloud, and that are USB sticks. These are great for transferring files. They're great for sharing files. They're great for taking your Aromatawai, like a presentation, and taking it into class, okay, or copying Aromatawai off your drive, giving it to your kayako, or putting it on another computer if it's a presentation so that you can present. But they're terrible for if this is the only place that you've got your Aromatawai on. That's because these break, they become corrupt occasionally. We leave them in someone else's computer and lose them, or we leave them in our computer, fold up our computer, put it away, not realizing that it's still in the port, and break the end off. Okay, and once that's done, you're not going to get the data back. So the other thing that people use are external hard drives, and these are drives like this. So plug in via USB cable onto your computer. These are relatively cheap for the amount of space that you get on them. This one is a 2 terabyte drive, so probably more space than most people's computers just on this drive. But we lose these, and these become corrupt too. And this is probably the biggest source of tears for a lot of people. I've managed to get files back from some of them, including one person's whole master's exegesis. But what is inside this is something like this, which is a hard drive that's got physically moving parts. It's got a platter that spins around. And because it's got moving parts, when they get dropped, when they get chucked into bags and banged around, they do break. Okay. So they're great for me for backups, backing up your laptop, their important files, and then leaving them in a safe place. Now, more recently, in the last few years, you've been able to get smaller ones like this, which are solid state drives. And they come in different shapes and stuff like that. But they're like large USB sticks. They've got memory chips on them. And in fact, I can show you. And so they're a lot more robust than the traditional external hard drives. So this is the insides of one. This is the actual drive it's got. Pull off this cover. Okay. And it's got little chips in there that store all the data. Okay. These are great, but we lose them as well. And I've had some that have failed because they have a shelf life. And that shelf life is usually measured in the amount of reads and writes that they can do. Now, they'll last for years, don't get me wrong. They're not going to be a 6-month thing before you have to get a new one. But occasionally they don't last for years. And so once again, these are great for not long-term storage of stuff, but they're great for, say if you're doing a video project, you want to be able to move files between different computers. They move things really, really quickly because they're solid state. There's no moving parts. They can hold lots of storage. They're more expensive than a traditional external hard drive. But once again, if that's the only place that you've got your Aromatawai on, then that's a danger. That's a risk. Okay. So we're going to have a look at using the cloud. And we're going to look at 2 platforms. The free version of the Google Drive that you get with a Gmail account, and we're going to have a look at OneDrive and the difference between them. Both of these, we're going to look at the free versions. Okay? As tauira of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, you do get a OneDrive subscription while you're a tauira. I don't recommend using that because once you finish your study at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, you lose access to that. Okay? So even if you're using it for just your Aromatawai, I recommend having your own account, whether it be a free version, so just the free Microsoft account, Hotmail, Outlook.com, OneDrive, live.com, or just office.com, or even if you pay for the Office where you get more storage. Those are all great options. So let's have a look. And we're going to have a look at both using it on a computer and then what it looks like on your phone. Okay, kia ora JH, thanks for joining in. Okay, so let's jump across to our screen. It's working. Aromatawai. Okay, so there's a couple of things, and I've mentioned this last week, that are really recommended ways to manage your Aromatawai when you're creating it. So whether it be a document or a presentation or whatever, and that's saving it to your computer first and then doing all your mahi on it. That's because once you've saved it once, it knows where it is. And so a quick Command S on a Mac or Control S on a Windows computer, and it's saved your current, where you're currently up to. Okay. But that location on a computer can be in a cloud or a cloud storage space. So we're going to have a look at, we'll have a look at Google Drive first. Most people have a Gmail account, and with Gmail you get 15 gigabytes of storage for free. Now that storage is shared across your Gmail, your Google Drive, and your Google Photos. So if I go to the little hamburger menu up here and come to Google Drive, we can see here I've used 6.13 gigabytes out of 15 gigabytes. Okay, and I can click on it and it'll tell me that most of it is stored in my Google Drive. I've got a little bit of Google Photos and barely anything in my Gmail. I can buy more storage, and depending on how much it is different per month. So 100 gigabyte is $28 a year. Okay. And I can go up to get more, but it can start getting quite expensive once I get up to like $16.99 for 2 terabytes a month. But if you're invested into the Google ecosystem, it can be a great option. Kia ora hone, thanks for chickening in. Okay. So I've come to my Google Drive. One thing that doesn't use storage is Google documents. So Google Docs, Google Sheets, Slides, Forms, they don't take up any of the storage. You get them for free. But if you've got other things in there, like PowerPoint presentations, pictures, videos, Word documents, and that, they will contribute to your storage limit. So I come to my drive. Now I've had this for a while. And here's all the folders that I've got. Okay, so these are all my files, and they're sitting online. I'm using my web browser at the moment. I can access them online. I can open them up, depending on what they are. This is a Word document. I'll click on that. I can open it up. It'll open up as a Google Doc. I can do my Aromatawai, and I'm doing it all online. It's going to save it as it goes. Okay, and so I don't have to press save or anything. I'll just close it. And here I've changed it 14 minutes past 8, and it's 8 kilobytes. Okay, so we can work in a web browser. What that means is that if we're on a wānanga computer at the wānanga, say in the library, we can log into our wānanga account, and then we can open up and sign into Google and carry on doing our work. It doesn't matter where we are, as long as we've got internet access and a computer, we'll have access to it. Now we can also get Google Drive as a physical drive on our computer. So up in our top right, where there's a gear icon for settings, we can get Drive to desktop. Okay. So we can download Drive for desktop. It's going to download a file for us. Okay. And once that's downloaded, I'm going to run it. Yes, we want to run. We want to add shortcuts to docs, sheets, and slides. No, I don't want to do that, but we do want to add an application shortcut to desktop. I'll install. Now this changes all the time, dear installer, so don't worry if it looks a little bit different when you get to do it. Okay, Google Drive installed successfully. I'm going to launch. Okay, welcome to Google. I'm going to go next, sign in. Okay, it's going to use my web browser to sign in, so I can choose my account that I'm already logged in with. Okay, yes, we want to sign in. We did download it from Google. Success, we've signed in. And if we minimize our web browser, here's our Google Drive. Okay. Now it's going to, and both Google and the Microsoft version both suggest backing up the computer. Now, it all depends on how much space you've got. We don't have a lot of space. We're just using the free space. So we're not going to save our documents, okay, our downloads, documents, or desktop, or we can add a folder. So we can skip this. Okay. We can choose to save pictures and videos to Google Photos. Not going to do that either. Once again, if you've got a lot of Google storage, if you're paying for extra Google space, feel free. It is a good option. I pay for storage, but I mostly use it for Google Photos. So I'll skip that and then see Drive files in File Explorer. Okay. And I'll just go next and open Drive. So here's the little program running on my computer. And it stopped. See. I've got Google Drive here. This is my drive. And all of those files that were in my drive here are also available on my computer. So if I make a change here, I'm going to open up, what was that document that I did? Doc 1. Okay. I'm going to open it up here and it's going to open it up in Word. Okay. I'm just going to exit that. I can make a change here. So I'm making a change once again in the full version of Word. Make that text a bit bigger. And let's make it bold. Okay. I'll save. And then here, if I come to that document again, doc 1x, I'll open it up. There we go. So I'm synced between what I see on my computer and what I'm doing, or what those documents look like in the cloud. That means I can just work on my computer like I normally would. These files are all here. It's just another folder that I can access. Okay? And so my process then would be, if I want to create a presentation, for instance, I'll come down, I'll open up Microsoft PowerPoint, start a blank presentation, and then the first thing I'm going to do is go File, Save, and I'm going to browse my PC and find my Google Drive, my drive, and say Aromatawai. On my 2. save. Okay, so now that I've got a location, okay, I can make some changes and then save as I go. And if I make a change and go to exit, it'll ask me to save. I just go save and it knows where it's saving to. And it's saved into, here we go, in my Aromatawai Konai 2 folder there, online. Aromatawai Konai 2. Okay. Now the cool thing is, because it's online, say I've come to Noho and I forgot my power charger, my charger for my laptop's died. I need to get my Aromatawai, the library's closed. I need to get that presentation. I can just come to my phone. Okay, so here's my phone. I'm going to come into my Google Apps and I'll make sure I've got Drive installed. Okay. And come to home, my files, my Aromatawai. There's Konai 2. I can grab it. I can open it in Google Drive, or I can download it, or I can even email it from there to myself, my kaiako, a classmate, so that I can then have access to it. So having it in the cloud means that it is accessible anywhere where you've got access to the internet. So that's Google Drive really simply. I'm not going to show much of the other features of it, except that if you happen to delete it, there is a storage bin, and this gets emptied every 30 days, I think. Yep. So the other option, and I'm showing these two because they're probably the two most popular options for cloud storage, is OneDrive through Microsoft. So I'm actually going to come to OneDrive.com. If you're on a Mac, you'd have to download the OneDrive app, I think. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. I'm already logged into my personal account, so this is just my personal account. It's a free account. I see the little, I'm going to get spam all the time asking me to upgrade or offering me a free trial, which is a bit of a hoha, but otherwise it's okay. I'm going to come to my files, and these are all the files sitting in the cloud for me. Now, to get access to these files on my computer, I'm going to come to my start menu and come down to find OneDrive. Now, if you've signed into a Microsoft account when you've set up your Windows computer, you'll already be set up. Tour at gmail.com. Going to ask me for my password, which I've totally forgotten. I'm going to find out what it is. Sign in. Use this account everywhere. Now, I don't really want to do that. It's totally up to you. It just means that it will be linked to your computer. So I'm just going to go Microsoft Apps. If I'm logging in with a Wānanga login, which I can do, I definitely don't want to, it'll come up with the option to let your organization use your thing. So here it's going to create my OneDrive in my users, my name, and then OneDrive. Go next. Like Google Drive, it's going to offer to back up files on my computer. Now, I've just got the free version, so I've only got 5 gigabytes of storage. So while Google gives you 15 gigabytes, Microsoft only gives you 5. The difference being Google, you share that across your Gmail and photos. So I'm just going to make sure I turn off the backup. If you pay for storage with Microsoft, or if you are paying for the full Office suite, where you get a terabyte of storage, it's a really, really good idea to back up your documents and pictures. Okay, so I'm just going to go next. I don't want to do Microsoft Premium. Okay, not now. And next, shared files and files. Now, this is the important thing to realize, and this is one of the advantages of Microsoft OneDrive over Google Drive, and one of the reasons why it's become my favorite now. And that's because I can choose what I have on my computer. Kia ora anahera, thanks for chickening in. Microsoft will, or Google Drive will put all your files on your computer, okay, using up that space. But Microsoft let you choose whether to have that file online only, on your device, or always on your device. And we'll have a look at that in a minute. So these are the icons. Where the cloud means it's online only. What that means is that it's sitting in the cloud. You can see it on your computer like a thumbnail. And if you click on it, it will download as long as you've got internet access and open it up. So you've got access to it as long as you've got internet. If it's on your device, you've got a copy on your device. It'll be constantly syncing to the cloud. If you've got an internet connection, and always available means that it's on your computer and you've decided to always keep it on your computer. And I'll show you the difference. We can get the mobile app, which we will have a look at, okay, and open my OneDrive folder. So here's my OneDrive folder, and if I come to, this is my, in the web browser, we've got exactly the same thing. Attachments, desktop, documents, pictures. I can right click and I can create a new, say, document, Onai2, Aromatawai. Okay. We see the little syncing icon, and we can see that it's got the little green tick in a white circle. We can see automatically it's updating the online as well. Okay. It's still called new Microsoft Word document, but once it updates, it's going to change its name to Kornai2. And in fact, I can create a new folder here as well. New folder, Aromatawai. Grab Kornai2 and drag it and drop it into there. We should see the changes taking place over on the left-hand side as well. Okay. So depending on the computer that you've got, will depend on how you manage your storage here. But one of the good things about OneDrive is I can say, for my Aromatawai folder, I can right click on it and I can always keep on this device. Okay. Oh, I've done it for everything. That's all right. So it's done it for everything just because I missed the thing. So it's grabbed all my files and put them on my device. If I need to free up space, I can right click on a file or a folder and I can choose free up space. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Got it. Okay. So once again, now that's changed that icon to a cloud. So this assignment 1, April 22, is not sitting on my computer. I still have access to it, but it's sitting on the cloud, meaning it's freed up space on my computer. Kia ora, Damien. Thanks for chickening in. Okay. So once again, I can do it on a file or folder, but I can right click, free up space. That will remove those files from my computer. They're still sitting in the cloud, but they're not taking up space on my computer. And if I need to, I can always go in and access them. And once again, I can use the drive sitting on my computer just like I would normally, or I can use the drive in my web browser, accessing the cloud directly. The other advantage of OneDrive is that if you are using Microsoft Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, okay, when we have a file that we're working on, if it's saved to our OneDrive, we have this autosave. Okay? So it's saving all the time. Okay? So we don't have to worry about saving or our computer crashing or failing. It's going to keep on saving it all the time. Now, another cool thing with both Google Drive and OneDrive is that how we share these documents. But before we do that, I'm going to come to my phone, my very slow 10-year-old phone, and I'm going to come into Microsoft apps. Once again, OneDrive might be installed on your phone by default, or you might have to get it from the App Store or Play Store. I'm going to come, I think I've signed in already on my phone. Yep, I've signed in already. Okay, maybe later. Go away, Microsoft. So many blooming pushes to get you to do stuff. Now the home will show you the most recent files. Okay, so it knows that this is my most recent file. It's the actual file I'm working on a minute ago. Or I can come to my files. And once again, sorry for the slow phone. It really is about 10 years old and is my mother-in-law's old phone. Okay. Here's the Aromatawai folder I created 4 minutes ago. So I've got access to it on my phone. So once again, I can download, I can work on them on my phone if I want, I can share them, I can email them. So as long as I've got internet access, doesn't matter, it's always going to be safe. Okay? So the big takeaway from this thing is we can use the cloud and always keep our mātauranga safe, or as safe it is as our password that we use, but much safer, much more secure than using a USB. If I want to, if I got my laptop here and I've got this now, and I want to then plug in a USB, copy my Aromatawai over to the USB to give to my kaiako, kei te pai, that's great. Okay? But I'm always keeping a copy on my computer. Right, now comes to sharing. Now, there's a couple of tricks to sharing, both in Google Drive and OneDrive. We're going to use the web version, okay, just because it's a bit easier to see. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of these. So I've got my Google Drive and I've got my OneDrive. Okay, and we can share files or we can share whole folders. And if we share a folder, we share everything inside that folder, whether it be more folders, all the files in there, but we can dictate how we share. So we're going to start with OneDrive. If, for instance, we wanted to share with people in our class and allow them the access to edit, say we're working on a combined project or something like that. That happens a lot with presentations. Okay. We can come to our three-dot menu, okay, and we can either click on Manage Access or Share. They both kind of take us to similar things. I'm going to click on Share, and if I know who they are, and I know that they've got a Microsoft account because I'm sharing in OneDrive, I can put their name in. Toyo Chua twoa.ac.nz. Okay. It will tell us if it doesn't, if there's not a Microsoft account. Now, the reason it has to be a Microsoft account is because Microsoft are the only people that can authenticate. Microsoft can't authenticate Gmails, for instance. Okay. It may be a Gmail email, but they'll have to have a Microsoft account set up with that Gmail just to make it confusing. Okay. Down here, we've got this, anyone with the link can edit. Okay, so if I don't want this person to edit, I can change this to view, or I can click here and it's going to give me more options. Okay, and I can change it, view or edit. Because I'm using the free version, I can't set an expiration date or I can't set a password. Okay, but then I can send that, and that will send an email to this person and let them open up the file and view it. Now, that's a great option if you have a large file, or if you've got your files inside OneDrive or Google Drive and you need to submit it to Iakoranga or Akoro, and you just want to paste the link. Right? Here, if that's the case, we're not going to put in a name, we can copy the link. Okay? But by default, if I just get out of here, I'm going to share. By default, it gives the people edit access. So if I just copy link here, it's going to give whoever I send that link to edit access. If I want to change that, I need to come in and change it to can view. Go apply, copy link, and then I can share that link via a Facebook chat. I can share it in an email. I can paste that link into Iakoranga, and it's going to allow people to view it, but not to change it. Okay, so that's really, really important. If we do it for a folder, it's exactly the same thing. I'm going to share. I'm going to change it to can view. I can copy the link, and then that folder and everything in it will be viewable, but will not be editable. If you are in our He Koro Waiakunga program, we'll have a look at this with Google Drive in a sec, but it's a similar thing that you want to do. Okay. So just repeating, 3 dots, share, change the option from can edit to can view, and then copy the link, or if you're sending it to specific people, send. Okay. If you've shared a link and you want to unshare it, we can click on the 3 dots and we can manage access, and we can see here, one people, me, I'm the owner, I've got one link, I can then remove that link. So if I want to stop people from accessing it, I can control that. So that's sharing with OneDrive. I'm going to come into Google Drive, and it's very, very similar. Okay. I can come to my 3 dots here to get the more actions, and then I've got share, or I can right click, share, and I can share with people, or I can copy the link. If I come and click share with people, it's going to go give me the options about who I can share with. So I can type in people's emails. These are people in my my contacts. Okay. I can change it from restricted, meaning only the people that I've given access to. Usually I want anyone with the link, and I want them to be a viewer. Okay. I can then copy the link, and once again, I can paste that. I can paste it into Iakoranga, I can paste it into Akoro, I can paste it into a email, or however I want to send that document, I can do that. Go done. So that's share, or I can just come to copy link if I want. Okay? And it's just going to copy the link, but then I've got the option to manage access. So once I've managed access, I can then come and change that link. Okay. A commenter is just someone that can comment on the document, but not change it. So that's a good option if you want to share something with your kayako and but don't want them to edit your stuff, but just comment on your Aromatawai. So I'm going to come into my e-portfolios folder. Okay. So anyone in the Hikorowai Akonga in our primary education program, or if you're doing primary ed in another institute and you're creating e-portfolios with Google Drive, it's the same process. And actually, it's really important that that this is something that you can do. Is here I've got a folder, and I can put all my e-portfolio files in that folder. And even if I'm just going to put it into my e-portfolio, but I'm not going to share them directly, I do want to come and I want to do a share. And once again, if I'm sharing a folder, I'm sharing that folder and everything in it. Okay. Yeah, I've shared it to myself in the past. Okay. But I want to go anyone with the link, and I want to make sure that they're a viewer. Okay. Now, the reason that is, especially if you're sharing this to Iakoranga or Akoro, so it's part of your Aromatawai, is that you do not know who needs to access that file or those files. For instance, your kayako will access them because they are going to be doing the marking, or you might have a number of kayako in your program that need to access. But we also have a moderation process. That is, we have a number of moderators in Te Wānanga o Aotearoa that go through, and their job is to ensure consistency of marking right throughout Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. And that means that's an important part of our accreditation as an educational institute, that we do that properly, and it ensures that we're marking consistently across the Wānanga, but we're also consistent across all educational institutes. So when you actually get up and graduate and walk across that stage, you know that your qualification is equal to any other qualification provided by any educational institute in Aotearoa. In fact, more so, because yours was done in a kaupapa Māori way. So anyone with the link is a viewer, and we can copy that link and we can go done. And once again, we can paste that link. So those are the important kind of ways to share, to save your files, to ensure that your mātauranga is safe using the cloud. If you are worried about the cloud and you're worried about putting your mātauranga online, things like pepeha, things like rongoa that's been handed down from whānau, then make a conscious decision. Okay, because anything that's digital, regardless of whether it's in the cloud or on a computer, has the option for someone to take it if we're not careful. That means we've got to have strong passwords. If it's a cloud, that means we've got to be secure in our laptop. We can't have a no password laptop or things like that. Or if it's on a USB stick, that we're not leaving them lying around. So that's our kaupapa for tonight. I'm glad we're kind of sticking to about the 45 minutes, so we're not taking up an hour, because I'd like to keep it shorter if possible. And in fact, I prefer shorter stuff. Okay. You can also you can also share via your phone exactly the same way. It's the same principle, but always be careful that you're sharing with people as a viewer only. That's one of the big concerns that you might have, that other people especially if you're doing Aromatawai. Can people change it if you're sharing via a link? Often if you've got a PowerPoint presentation mostly and it's too big for the limits of Iakuranga, which is 100 megabytes, putting it into your drive storage, whether it be Google Drive, OneDrive, even iCloud, Dropbox, some of the other ones, and sharing a link, okay, is a great way to upload your assessment for marking while overcoming some of those limitations in storage. But remember that once you've done that, you can't then delete your file. Okay? You have to keep it. So usually it's 5 or 7 years that we ask you to keep it because of law regarding records management, and also how far back the government can come into Te Wānanga or Aotearoa and audit our assessments and stuff like that. So just be aware of that, whānau. Hopefully that's been useful. I know one, I know this one was one I've just seen so many people using USB drives and stuff, carrying them around, external hard drives for all of their stuff. A lot of our kaiako too, okay? And it just worries me that we have whānau that lose their work. So that's one of the strong points of the cloud, that we can use it to keep all of our important documents safe. And if it's useful to you, like I used to be a big Google Drive person. I used to use Drive all the time for everything. I got all my whānau using Google Drive. In the last 5 years, probably even a little bit more, Microsoft OneDrive has really picked up the game, and I think it's the best cloud storage out there when you're using Microsoft services like Word and PowerPoint and stuff like that. Even not, there's some really cool features with the personal versions of OneDrive, like a secure vault, a place to keep important stuff that requires 2 sets of passwords to actually access. So my whānau have a OneDrive. We have our secure vault, and our things like our passport photos or driver's license copies and stuff, our wills, our bank details and stuff like that, all sit in this extra vault that's got this extra layer of security. That means even if someone hacked our OneDrive account, they wouldn't get access to those. So lots and lots of advantages to the cloud and ways that we can use it, and hope it's been useful. Now, next week, I really have no idea what our kaupapa is. I think I had a plan, and I cannot hold the line caller. I'll see if I can pull it up, because I did actually have it somewhere. Live stream schedule. Yeah. No, the plan I had is not ready quite yet. So we will do something. Maybe we'll do something with images and funky ways to use images, and just have a bit of a tutu. So thanks very much for joining us. Remember, next week we will be doing our prize draw too. So everyone that's chickened in the past month to all of our live streams, you're going to be in the draw. If you've chickened in on 2 live streams, you'll get 2 chances. If you're chickened in all of our live streams, you'll get 4 chances. So make sure you join in. We'll draw that at the end of the live stream next week. Have a great long weekend, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, and keep learning. Ka kite. Video. You got it, Jackie.